In today's video, we're going to wrap up our inventory system by incorporating it into our save and load functionality. Hi, my name is Michael, and welcome to my 2D action and adventure RPG tutorial series. We are learning how to build a top-down 2D game that features action, adventure, and RPG mechanics all in Godot 4 using GDScript. Alright, so over the course of the last several videos, actually, we've built a save load system, and which allows us to save and load player position, the map he's on, or the level he's on, and the health or the life, and then we can load that. And of course, we've also built this UI with a little bit of an interface system and the resource-based inventory. Okay, so today what we're going to do is we're going to just incorporate our player's inventory into the save and load system. Okay, so let's just get straight into it this time, and we're going to be mostly just working in code this tutorial. Let's open the InventoryData class and resource that we've built. So the first part of being able to save this data is to get it into a format that's easy to save. And actually, real quick, let's look at our save manager that we built in a previous tutorial. In our save manager, we have defined a dictionary to save our data. And we actually already included a little piece called items, and we'll save our inventory into the items. I guess we could rename that inventory if you wanted to, but doesn't matter too much what it's called as long as we understand it. So we want to get our data into a dictionary type format, which is the format that our save and load is kind of built to handle. So looking back at our inventory data, let's let the inventory data class handle most of the heavy lifting as far as working with this data. That makes the most sense to me. Keep it localized here. And so basically what we need to do is we need to kind of gather the inventory into a dictionary or into an array, right? Because that's what it goes into. And also we're going to need to be able to kind of convert each inventory item into a dictionary that fits into this array. Okay, that's the first thing we need to do as part of the saving. So let's build this, this first function, and we'll go ahead and just call it get save data, and it will return an array. And let's see, let's just make our array, let's see, we'll call it items save, and it's an array, and we'll set it equal just to an empty array to begin with. And then let's iterate over our actual inventory for I in slots dot size, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to add to our array, not items, but item save dot append. And we're going to put something in here. I'll just put a string in there for now because that'll hopefully get rid of the error. And then we'll return the item save array. Okay, so we could put logic right in here to just figure out what item we need to get into, but let's go ahead and do that as a separate function so that it doesn't get too messy. So let's make a new function, and it'll be called item to save, and we'll actually pass in the slot that we're looking at. Okay, so we'll have slot data, and it'll return a dictionary, and we'll do this. Let's go variable result equals, I've thought about this a little bit. The basic information and data that we need to be able to save our inventory item is we need to know what the item is and what the quantity is. We don't need to save the slot that it's in, the slot number that it's in, because that's kind of inherent in the order of this array, if that makes sense, right? Like if it was in the first slot in the inventory, it'll be in the first item in this array, and so on. So what we can do is we want to store the item, and this will be a string. Then we need to store the quantity. So we'll set the quantity equal to 0 by default and the string to empty by default. And obviously if we have an empty string, that means there's not actually an item. And then we'll return our result at the end of this function, okay? So what we can do is just check. Let's see if our slot does not equal null, right? And remember, I have code ligatures on, so not equals is exclamation followed by an equal sign. So if a slot is not null, then let's go ahead and look at the slot and get some data here. So we can go our result Quantity equals slot.quantity. Okay, easy, nothing special there. And then let's do one more check, because remember our slot contains an item data and we want to make sure that the item data is not null. So if slot.item data is not null, then our result item will equal, and this is the question, what should we set it to? And this is what I want. This is what makes sense to me. So our resources have inherently a resource path tied to them. So we can go like this. We can go item data.resource path. And what that is that's a path to the file. If we look in our file system, then like if this is a gem, where's my items? If this is a gem, then it's going to be the path to this gem resource. So then when we come back to load this, we can say, grab this resource, plop it in there, and then put it at this quantity, right? So that's all we're going to do. That's why we made the item a string, and technically it's a resource path to the item. And so, I mean, if you wanted to, you could rename that to resource path. I'm going to be lazy and not. Okay, so item to save. There we go. So then that means when we go through our item save, when we loop through our slots here in our get save data, then we'll just call that new function we created, item to save, and then the item to save just needs the slot that we're currently looking at. There we go. We've created these two functions that'll help us gather the save data that we need. So let's go to our global save manager script. And I'm going to create one new function for now in here. And this function is going to serve the same purpose as other functions we've had, which are, we've got, let's see, things like, update player data, update scene path. So let's just create one to update the item data, because that's what we need to do. And this one's going to be pretty easy. We're going to just update our current save items to equal. And what's really nice is in our last video, we made a reference to our inventory data in the player manager. Yeah. So we can just call the get save data method and just use that to populate it. So let's just go ahead and look at this. If you remember here in our global player manager, we added this constant inventory data, which points to the player inventory that we built. So it's just an instance of that class. Obviously, we need to call this function before we save our game. So let's come up here to our save game function and just put that in there. And then actually, let's go ahead and just try this. Let's go into our game. And before we really test that, let me go to project and open user data folder. And then let's open this save. So our current save data, that last time we tested this, we've got an empty items array, persistence. Here's our player with, he had been missing a little bit of hit points and he had a position, and the scene path, okay? So let's just test it and see if our items get updated. So let's go ahead and do this. So we've got nothing in our inventory right now. Let's just pick up one of each of these and hit save. No errors, that's a good sign. Let's go back to our save file. It wants to reload, that's a good sign. There we go. So you can see our items. Now we've got several entries in this array, right? We've got item with a resource path. That was an apple. 1 is the quantity, and then we've got stone, gem, potion, and then a bunch of empty items, right? Because we still had slots in our player inventory. There's just nothing in all these slots. So that's perfect. It looks like it's working. And that matches. We have one of each. In fact, let's just leave this screen and come back, and let's pick up just one apple and a potion and hit save. And then if we go back to our save file, then we should see, yep, 2 apples, and wherever potions are, there should be 2. Okay, cool. So the save functionality is basically complete for our inventory. That's all we need to do there. Now that we can save data, let's go ahead and make it so that we can load data. And let's head back over to our inventory data resource class again. And then we're going to need 2 other functions in here. So whereas with saving, we created an array of items and we had a function to help us get the items into a dictionary. Now we need to be able to do the reverse, right? We need to be able to take this array of dictionaries and convert it back into an array of slot datas from the dictionaries that we're given. And that's pretty straightforward. So let's go ahead and create two new functions. We're going to make one function that we'll call parse save data. I don't know, is parse the right word to use there? I think so. Void. And actually, this is going to take in an array. We'll call it save data, but it's going to be that items array, right? And we'll just go ahead and leave that empty for the time being. So that's going to be the function that just takes the save data and goes through it and tries to put it in. And then we will create another helper type function, item from save. And what this will do is the opposite of the item to save, right? Where it takes a slot data and converts it to a dictionary. Instead, we're going to take a dictionary and convert it to slot data. So let's call this the save object. And we know it'll be a dictionary. And then we'll just return a slot data. Okay. And actually, let's go ahead and just build this function first since we're here. So if save object dot item equals just an empty string, right, which was all of our empty objects, then we will return null, because a null item in our inventory is how we have an empty slot. But if not, then let's make a new one. So we'll say new slot, not new plus, new underscore slot. Slot data equals new, or let's see, not new, but slot data dot new. So we'll just create a new slot data, a new resource, and assign it to that variable temporarily. We'll go with our new slot. We want to grab our item data component of that, and we'll set it to load. And it's already giving me resources that it thinks I might want to load. But actually, we have the resource path in our save object. Okay, it's going to be the item. And then we'll take our new slot dot quantity equals, and then we have to convert our JSON dictionary object. I think we have to assume it's probably going to come as a string. So just to be safe, we'll use an int conversion, and we'll get our save object dot quantity. Okay, and then we'll just return the new slot. Why is it's because I have pass here. We want this to be return new slot, not pass new slot. Okay, so there we go. There's our item from save. And let's look at this parse save data. We're going to already have an inventory because by default we've got one, and it might just be empty, right? Because we're loading a reference of the player inventory resource. And it's going to have a number of slots that we define here. And we want to honor that number of slots. And in fact, one thing just to keep in mind is if you change this number of slots, you could run into bugs or issues because we haven't really accounted for that. We're just assuming it stays the same. So, word of warning, if you think you want to change it, then you might have to make some of these functions a little bit more robust and check for size changes. But that also means that we can get maybe the size that our array should be. So let's just go ahead and store that. Let's create a variable to keep track of that in this function. So our array size will equal our slots size. So we'll start with that, and then let's take our slots array and call a clear function on it, which is going to get rid of all of the items. And that means that we'll have no items in the array. So we need to resize the array to the correct size. And we'll just pass in the array size we just saved. So we're saving the array size here, and it'll be 10. When we clear it, that size will become 0, and we're going to set it back to 10. But now when we resize an array, it's just going to fill it with empty null values in each slot, which is perfect for what we need. So then let's just take our save data. So we've got our save data, right, that we're passing in here, and let's iterate over this. And we'll iterate over it with a number, an index. So for I in save data.size, we'll get our slot at that index, and we'll set it equal to our item from save, and we'll pass in the save data at that index. Okay, so that's just going to, I think that's pretty straightforward, right? We're going to go through each thing. and we're just matching it. So the first slot in our inventory should be whatever this gives back for this first slot in the save data. And then one thing, this is done with one exception, and that's that in our last video with item pickups, we created this function connect slots, right? So that anytime we add a new slot, or anytime we have a slot that changes down to 0, it does certain things. And normally we connect that in here when we're adding items. But because we're not using this function to add items, we need to call connect slots at the end of reloading our inventory so that all the new items get connected. So where was that? Yeah, I guess it's right here. So right where we have the end of this function, I'm just going to put that connect slots. And that should be everything we need to load the data from the inventory resource side. So let's go over to the global save manager and let's look at the load game. Basically, everything that we do to modify the player happens in between these two awaits, right? When the level load starts and when it finishes. So let's just add a new line right here, and we'll call our player manager once again. And this time we want to grab our inventory data, and we'll call the parse save data function, and it just needs us to pass in the current save dot items, right? Is that right? Yeah, items. Okay, so we'll just pass that into our inventory and let it do its thing. Well, let's give it a shot. So we already have a save game with items, so let's just go ahead and hit load. No error. There we go. 2 apples, 1 rock, a gem, and 2 potions. So pretty straightforward. Nice and hopefully kind of short and sweet tutorial just to wrap up the beginnings of our basic inventory tutorial. Now there's obviously more that we could do with our inventory. I've heard comments about crafting and other things. I'd like to look at doing those in the future, so please comment if any of that seems highly valuable to you right now. And then I could put it on my list to consider for future videos. And as always, thanks for joining. I really appreciate the subscribes and the likes and everybody who's helping my channel grow. It's been a fun project to start, and I just am happy that people are loving it. So thanks for everything. And as always, we'll see you next time.